Meet Stephanie Perry, a house sitter, creator of House Sitter School, and co-creator of the Exodus Summit. Her mission? To help Black women move abroad, embrace freedom, and live their best lives. In this 45-minute deep dive, Stephanie shares how she turned house sitting into a lifestyle that lets her explore the world while helping others do the same. She also reveals how she grew a vibrant YouTube community of over 180,000 subscribers, hosts a six-figure virtual summit, and empowers women to take bold steps toward living a life they love. This conversation is packed with insights on building community, creating financial freedom, and pursuing your dreams unapologetically. This is Stephanie Perry on Redefining What's Possible.
So first of all, you said you're house sitting. Explain what that is. How do you house sit?
I stay in people's homes and take care of their homes and usually their pets while they're away. I've been house sitting since 2017, and it means that I can be anywhere in the world with free accommodation. What it means is I get free accommodation anywhere in the world. It's really nice to be able to like have a way to live life differently so that I don't have to prioritize making money. I'm not opposed to making money. I enjoy making money. But being able to know that I can get free accommodation for weeks or months at a time means that I can prioritize all parts of me and not just the money-making part. It's been amazing.
What I love about your YouTube channel and the videos I've been able to see over the past few months is that it's the word unapologetic comes to mind when I think about you. You want that for yourself and you want that for other people, especially for Black women. Where does that come from?
Seeing something from a different perspective, it's natural for us to want other people to enjoy that too. In my life, in my world, Black women have reached out to me, embraced me, taught me, encouraged me, supported me, lifted me up over and over and over and over again. And so the work that I get to do is an opportunity for me to say thank you. From childhood on through until like just right now. It's always been Black women who have reached out and really like extended themselves to me in such a warm way. And I love that I get to do that back. I get to do it back. I get to reciprocate.
So your work is this, and then you also do have that YouTube channel. How long have you had the channel active?
Since 2019, June 2019, I launched my YouTube channel because I took a career break. I left the country. And I saw how amazing it was and how it changed me. And I was like, I know some other people who need this. I made a list of 8 Black women I was making my YouTube channel for. I made a list of Black women who I was like, and Charmaine needs to quit her job, and Kim needs to quit her job, and Katrina, right? I made my little list and I started my YouTube channel so I could have information there for them when they were ready.
So how many subscribers do you have today?
180,000. I'm on my way to 181.
You do a lot of streaming, live streaming, I've noticed.
Yeah.
You get thousands of people watching your streaming. What has that been like? That decision to live stream and then the way you use it, kind of what's the strategy there?
I think I first started live streaming just because people were commenting. You know, I was seeing the same, you know, when you have 100 subscribers, you see the same names over and over. I was seeing the same names and it was like, oh, let's do this in a more conversational way. So I started live streaming so that I could have conversations with them instead of just me talking and then maybe they'll comment later. And live streaming is just easier. You don't have to edit video. I'm not into editing video. You don't have to edit video. So I started it that way. But what happened was the women in my live stream started forming community with each other and started being friends and planning to get together and encouraging each other during the chat. And then getting together afterwards. And I was like, oh, this is community. This is more than just me. There are times when my live stream is happening and I'm not there, right? If I can't make it, I'll bring a guest on. She'll talk her talk and the chat will be just as active and just as engaged. They don't need me. I'm a placeholder at this.
Well, that's special. And that's what we come to know and over time is that there usually is this person who is charismatic and who is a great communicator and someone who cares, who brings people together. But then the real magic happens when they take over, when they do things organically. That's why community is so compelling to me.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of community, you have recently launched one. Is that something that's come out yet?
Yeah, just on Thursday, on Thanksgiving evening, we launched Exodus ASAP, which is a community, a membership for Black women who are ready to plan their exodus from the country, who are ready to move abroad or at least bop around, be a nomad for a while.
Now, the people watching this video are very interested in creating their own communities, monetizing those, building out audience. So you are just this incredible case study where you have done something really interesting. Then you show people how you do that through your YouTube, and then you get even more access to you through a community. I mean, you run the entire playbook of
Yeah.
what I'm teaching, so it's really cool. When it comes to that decision, I saw you make that decision with Rachel Rogers on your recent interview with her, which was very cool, by the way.
It was.
That decision, how were you already monetizing before then?
We already had a virtual summit every year called Exodus Summit. Every year, this was our 5th year of hosting Exodus Summit, where speakers would come in and teach women what they know about moving abroad or taking a sabbatical. That first summit, I think I'd be surprised. We had sponsors the first year of the summit, which was 2020. And so we probably made 30K total, right?
Mhm.
Now we're making 300K from a virtual summit every time,
Wow.
every
And
year.
you do it every year, do it more than once?
Once a year, once
Once
a
a
year.
year. So it's a big, what is it? How many days is it?
Now it is usually Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Ooh, so it's
We've
a
done,
summit. It's a summit.
it's a summit. We have done a 7-day summit before. We'll never do that again. It's hard. Okay, don't do that to yourselves.
Yeah,
But
or to
oh,
the audience.
no,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
lot.
Women were
That's
like,
a lot to do. So when does that happen? When does that take place usually?
we do it Indigenous Peoples Weekend or Columbus Day weekend. It's a time when people are off work, hopefully. A good amount of our audience is off work and has that weekend to focus on
So
us.
did you just do it?
We just did it. Yeah, just
Wow, you just had the big summit.
that's
Can
right.
people see the replay somewhere?
Yeah, the replays are always available. So replays are at exodussummit.com. And so generally after the summit, we sell maybe another 20% of our profits come from the replay tickets. Some
Hmm.
years more, some years less. It depends on the actual focus of that year's summit. But yeah, we sell the replays as well.
And for people who are wondering, hey, I want to add a summit to
Mhm.
my catalog, where do you do this? Is it on Zoom? Is it on a special streamer?
Hey Summit. We've been using a platform called Hey Summit that does everything inside of that platform, that everything where our attendees don't need to be on camera. We do inside of Hey Summit. Then we do the on-camera stuff in Zoom. So we do sell an all access pass that includes the Zoom sessions where you're on camera as well. This next year, we've switched to a membership platform, and we think we may host the summit next year on that new platform. We'll see.
That's really exciting though, that summit. I know people, I had an in-person event, a large in-person event, 2,000 people. Rachel spoke there. She interviewed Miss Sheila Johnson, and then she also was interviewed. 2,000 people. You want to talk about a difficult thing to pull off. So I know this idea of this virtual summit is going to be interesting for people. And it
Yeah.
sounded like you did that out of necessity if it was in 2020, and then that necessity turned into something really magical for you.
That's exactly right. We actually started working on it before 2020, of course, but it was always going to be online
Hmm.
because we at least knew that we didn't want to navigate the summit part and the in-person piece. So we always knew it was going to be online in the beginning. After the first year, we thought everyone was so wonderful. We thought, oh, it would be nice to try to figure out a way to do this in person, but it's really so much easier online. It's so
Yeah.
much easier, and the profit is the profit,
Yes,
right?
understood. When you think about the membership, how did that launch go for you?
It went fine. We don't know, you don't know what to expect when you launch something brand new.
Mm,
So we set a goal. We wanted 100 people into the membership before the first coaching session, which happens on Thursday,
mhm.
right? We have 30 right now. So
Mm.
I think most people say
And
that's fine.
we
It's,
can we may or may not use this part. I want to ask you just directly, what
yeah,
are you charging?
247. You can include that if you like.
Okay, 247 per month. And do
A
you have a
month.
yearly
We
option?
We have a 3-month and a 6-month option. The 6-month is $12.47, so it's basically 5 months for the price of 6, and then you get a free all access pass to the next summit.
What are you getting for the 247?
$247, weekly coaching from either me or Rashida or both of us together or a guest coach, right? One live weekly coaching session, some pre-loaded coursework, accountability groups, and some events to be determined.
Yeah. Oh, oh, I wish you'd come to me first.
Oh, coach me.
I
You can
would.
take this in. I'm okay.
So you're not using school, first of all.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know if there's still a chance for you to use school, but I think that school, it's the platform.
Okay.
Now, I was on a different platform too before, and I had it for a year and a half. I had a membership. I did, my goal at the time was to do a 100K launch, and I ended up doing that like in a 30-day period. I did
Yeah.
it. So I had that. It was great, but then it stalled. It
Mhm.
stalled in how many people joined. And it started to be really tough for people to navigate. The more information, the more content I had on it, it
Right.
just wasn't built for that. And I was going to sunset it. I was done. I was like, this was been really wonderful. I love having this interaction with this audience, but I can't do it because it's not good for either of us, right? For the
Right.
audience, for me. So then I was going to sunset it, but then something caught my eye about school. I can't remember exactly what some of it had to do with Alex Hermosi because I like his work. But I said just one week I said, let me just go ahead and bring over my audience from my paid members, bring them over to school for a few days and see if they like it before I sunset it. If they don't like it, or if I don't like it, I'll just go ahead and continue that.
Right.
I
Right.
brought them over, and within 24 hours I knew, I said, oh, this is where it's at. Because school lends itself to allowing that interaction that is needed for the robustness of the membership. And that's
Okay.
where the heart of it is.
Yeah.
So if it feels like a parking lot, or if it feels like you have to be the flywheel, you have to be the one that posts things like I'd have to post things and ask questions. And that's the thing that kept people talking. That is a stalled membership. And
Right.
it doesn't lend itself for the explosion that I think you could have. Because I remember on Rachel's conversation, you said, how many people have gone to your summits?
Overall, we have an email list of 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that because we have return attendees and new attendees every year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The number we have is 20,000.
And I understand Rachel, she's the queen of this, so I'm never gonna take away from what she said, but I understand her on the pricing. She doesn't want you to underprice yourself,
Right.
the 247. But if you're going to charge 247, there has to be something on the other side of that that is a full, clear transformation for
Right.
somebody. So when you describe the transformation for somebody, that month after month after month they would pay, what do you say that is?
We're teaching the peace out protocol, right? We're teaching you how to actually leave. Some of the women who have joined in this first cohort, right? The first group of women who have joined,
Yeah.
they have a deadline that is somewhere in 2025. And so they know that they just need to get some things in order so that they can go. We're getting them all of the individual moving parts. We're helping them make progress on all the moving parts of their move abroad. What do you do about your kids' school plan? What do you do about your aging parents? What do you do about your property, your home, all your stuff? What about residency? How do you decide where to get residency?
Yeah.
So we're working through all of those things inside the membership. The reason that we didn't do a 1-year membership is I'm not sure that anyone needs a full year of that, right?
Mhm.
So we did a 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month because most of the women, I think, in 6 months will have made such significant progress that even if they're not out the door yet, they don't have any moving part that is left
I see.
untouched.
So to me, when I hear that, I
Yeah.
hear a problem in that
Okay.
statement from
Okay.
you internally. I understand the integrity of that statement, and I love the integrity of that statement. And what you're saying is, as it stands now, someone would not need this recurring revenue. Like that's something that is recurring to you over and over again. And that's a problem, right? Because you don't want to spend so much time constantly having to bring new people in when you
Mhm.
could when you can actually make the most amount of money by having some very loyal people who get value from you day after day after day. So you don't
Oh,
need to have the annual right now for sure. But I
mhm.
would be looking at this as how do I make it something that somebody does need 6 months later?
Okay.
Because every time you solve a problem for somebody, you create a new problem for them. And once they're over, what do they do then? Are they on their own? Once they've moved, like if it were me, and I'm your target audience, by the way, and
Yeah.
if it were me and you get me moving to Europe or to Mexico or wherever, or Asia, Africa, I don't want to move and then that's it. I want to keep working with you. Do you have a solution for that?
We have a separate space in the community blocked off for alumni with no idea what to do with it yet. So thank you for
Yeah.
this. Okay, thank you for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So there's a couple of ways I would do this.
Okay.
And this is just to kind of workshop it with you. There are a
Yeah.
couple of ways I would do this. One way is I would actually start a free membership on school. So it's
Okay.
free to everyone to join, and you're constantly driving traffic to it from your YouTube and your email lists. It's bustling. And in that free membership, they get the camaraderie of, that the same thing that they do in your comments, but they get that they have a profile. It's something people can find each other, they can DM each other. It's really robust. And you're encouraging them, meet up, be safe, but meet up, so they want to stay in the classroom section. Again, this is very specific to school because it has like these very specific sections that they kind of spearheaded. But in the classroom section, that's where you can do one of two things. You can either have like you would have like very introductory classes, either way, right? You have these introductory so that I'm learning something, I'm getting value from it. You can mention it in your videos. Hey, this is a checklist. This is the 30-minute training that'll teach you something you didn't know. You have that. Now, what you could either do is have a second membership that is paid that costs somewhere between 100 and 250 a month. And that is where those are for the people who have decided I want to do this. And
Okay.
this is everything you need. Now, this free one is for people who are dabbling and deciding, and this paid one are for the serious I'm moving. And this is what you need year round because you give all the things that you've described, you already have in the paid one. They get that over there. They don't have access to it unless they are there.
Right.
But then, listen, I'm however many years into it. I forgot you said 5 or 6 years into it.
To the
Yeah, I'm
summit.
5 years into it and I'm still learning.
Yes.
And you're going to want to have these weekly calls or these monthly calls or these dot, dot, dot. You want to have this access to all four of our experts who are teaching different things. There is a membership, for instance, inside of school. It's a Forex for women, foreign exchange for women,
Yeah.
investing. There are three women, two of them are Australian, one's in the US, I believe.
Okay.
It is one of the largest memberships on the entire school program. And
Mhm.
one of them does Sunday, da 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 da. One of them does
Yeah.
the Wednesday, this, that, and that other. And it is just bustling in there because they have what they need and they're constantly optimizing and saying, look, what worked in 2022 is not going to work in 2025. So
Right.
these are the things that have just been added. So that's
Okay.
another thing you're going to tell them is like, we're going to help you keep up with the forever changing landscape of moving abroad. And once you're over there, we're going to help you with things that you may not even have taken into consideration.
Okay.
Grocery shopping, this, and the other, babysitting, this, and the other. We're going to always have it up to date. The reason I would put the free membership in the middle of all of this is that there's another example. There's a Black woman who has, I'm going to be interviewing her soon, where she does, I forgot exactly what it is, but it's something to do with selling shirts that you make. She has like
Yeah. Yeah.
13,000 people in the free membership.
Uh-huh.
And then she has a couple thousand people in the paid membership,
Yeah.
and she's making like 300,000 a month.
Yeah.
You probably know her, right?
I think I do. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's because you're showcasing your expertise and you're creating a community where people do not want to leave.
Okay.
And it's free one. YouTube is fantastic for it, but it only goes so far because people have to really duct tape a way to continue talking to each other.
That's
So I'll
exactly right.
notice on my lives, when I do my YouTube lives now, I've only done a couple, so now I'm an expert. But I notice when I do my lives, people from Arlen's All Access will come over and tell the people who are not in it why it's so great. Now, you could skip the free membership and just transfer over to school. And look at me, I'm trying to sell you on it, but you could transfer
I'm
over
just
to school,
taking notes.
and so you could skip the free membership and just go in, and like it's the only way you have that. But if you did that, I would either lower the price per month, or I would have an even stronger transformation story.
Okay. We really like having the free membership. It is a way to, I'm going to use the term indoctrinate, but in the gentlest way, right? It is a way to indoctrinate people because this is such a shift in thinking and approach.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice to have a place where women are like, let me test this out so
Wonder
that they can
exactly.
decide if it's
And they get to know how to use the platform, and they love the platform, and it's such an easier, oh, let me push this button to join this other one. When you have that, and the way school is built, it's just the psychology. There's something about the way they do it. The psychology is there, and it's sticky. And people want to, get the point for being, communicating and doing all of that you have inside of school. I just seen so much success with it. My friend Lamar and Ronnie from Traffic Sales and Profits, I brought them over. They got 1,000 people in 7 days into their free membership, and they were able to have all kinds of challenges and paid things, and that they can upsell. So you can either upsell in the classroom individual courses, or you
okay.
can upsell to the paid membership. And I'm saying or, but it's also and. Or
Yeah.
you can do this. Now, here's one more way you can do it. So let's say you have people who are wanting to move, and that's one thing. There's two things I see here. You could post once a week or have a live session that's a very special live session once a week. And on that live session and on that post, you're saying, every week we take on 12 phone calls, or we'll take on an enormous amount of phone calls, whatever you want to do. You
Mhm.
get on those calls on Zoom individually with people. They're onboarding calls. I call mine brainstorming calls. They're some sort of
Okay.
call, and you're talking to someone about their individual needs. And you could either upsell the ones that you truly believe you can help. You can upsell them to either we will do something for you. Like for me, again, I'm a little bit of a diva. So, and I say that, but I truly, what it is I'm extremely busy and have a lot of responsibility. And at the same time, every once in a while, I'm like, I do want to get up out of here. So
Yeah.
if you said to me, we charge $6,000 for, and we'll do all the things you need us to do to get you up out of here. I might
Mm.
say, yeah, I might say, yeah, because there are going to be some people, 1 out of 100 in your group, who are going to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I'll pay that because it'll save me all kinds of stuff. Especially if I'm willing to do this, I probably have some of that income.
Mhm.
That there's that, and then there's the other one. Another one that's coming to mind is the way you do house sitting. So I don't know if you have a house sitting product, but what if you got on a call with people and you said, I will teach you how to become a house sitter. $1,500. We do a 6 week cohort, and we take on, up to 20 people per cohort. I'm just making that up, but that's something that could be interesting to people because you're teaching them how to make money and how to, or save money, and which
Mhm.
is making money.
That's right. Yeah. So we have been talking money. We are talking money talk inside of our space, but not in like a separate avenue, like
Yeah.
regular, like not as something that's separated out.
Yeah. And I
So,
know your thing is like, I don't want to do a bunch of extra work,
right.
100%, but you could easily, with the influence that you have someone else do that for you. So
Yeah.
you could have somebody else on these sales calls who you trust, and then you could have somebody else executing and delivering on whatever they sell.
Yeah.
And it's because you just want to be more and more and more helpful to people. And it's
Yeah.
going to be fewer people that you're more helpful to, but you're kind of meeting them where they are. Right now you have a big sea of people, and you're treating them all the same.
Okay.
And some people have more needs than others.
Correct. Okay. I understand that. That's how the summit came about, right? Because we had our YouTube channels and we were like, well, there's a group of women who are serious about this and they need more. And that's how the summit came about. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is how the membership came about. So this will also be how the next thing, probably inside of the membership, the more specific, more done for you thing
Yeah,
would
in
come
some
about.
cases, yeah. Done
Yeah.
for you, or training certain people who want to do what you're doing right now. You're sitting in someone else's home, taking good care of their home, but you have a place to live. So it's a great exchange, but not everybody knows how to do that, how to get
Right.
started there. So of course you could have this course that's out there, but you'd have to like constantly push towards it, constantly promote it. It's not a bad thing to have that passive income. I wouldn't hate on it. You have, I wouldn't hate on it. It's not bad, but if it were me, I'd make a mini introduction course that went into this free membership that was one of many of the courses in the classroom. And so that it would catch somebody's eye. So you have 6 modules in the classroom, and one of them is house sitting for beginners. I go in there, I love it. As you use the word indoctrinated, I'm like, oh, I want to try that. You have a link under it that says book a phone call to learn how you can do it. And you have 10 calls, and for every 10 calls, 3 of them convert to a $1,500 cohort. That's what's coming to mind right now
Mhm.
is a cohort for that,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
learn how to do that with other people so I don't feel so alone with it. But it's not one-on-one because you don't have time for that.
You do these calls yourself?
I,
Or
I started, so every time I do something, I start by doing it myself so I
okay.
can train someone else to do it. So I
Okay.
did about 100 calls earlier this fall or
Mhm.
summer and fall. I did about 100 calls there were 15-minute calls because I'm able to kind of figure out quickly what I want to do. But I linked from my YouTube description. I
Yes.
linked into an unlisted video. This is before I had it through my membership.
Right.
I would link into an unlisted video. I would have a really strong 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with the person and say, or mono, but I would say to them, this is no fluff. This is exactly what our conversation is going to be like. If you want
Okay.
to have that with me, dial in. People would dial in. I would have it like 3 days out, up to 1 to 3 days out. I would get on the call, and I would make the determination in that call whether or not I think I can help them. And if I
Okay.
thought I could help them further, I would send them to the thing that would be. Sometimes it's Inner Circle, which is several $1,000s. Sometimes it's go into my membership that's paid, that's more accessible, that teaches you everything you need to know. Sometimes I don't think I can help you. So it's like I'll help you a little bit on the call, but then I'm going to move on because it's not great for both of us.
Right.
And I did that about 100 times. Once I did that and I knew what was working, what wasn't, what I liked, what I didn't like, I brought in someone who is an incredible professional who I've had on this channel named Colin. And Colin now does very specific sales calls for me.
Okay. Good. How do you measure whether or not this is working? What data are you looking at that says this is the right
When
path?
you say this, what do you mean?
So inside of our membership, we came up with an arbitrary number, and we were like, if we can get to 100 people by, it was so arbitrary that I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was 100 people in 30 days. If we can get
Mhm.
100 members in 30 days, this is a success. But it was
Yeah.
just an arbitrary number. We didn't really have a way to measure if this is working, right? Or
Mhm. Mhm.
if it is a go, if it is a success.
Yeah. Well, I happen to use your same metrics when I first started my membership a couple of
Okay.
years ago. I said I wanted 100. That was a $100,000 launch. I wanted 100 in those 30 days because it was my birthday at the end of those 30 days. So I did exactly what you did. I think that's solid for us. Like we not kind of know, but for you, you're thinking, I make 300,000. You make 300,000 a year on your summit. And what if you can match that or more with the membership? And then you think about a monthly recurring revenue because you don't have annual yet, you will eventually, but because you don't have annual yet, which will 2x at least your upfront capital,
Okay.
upfront
Okay.
then you're going to measure it based on monthly recurring revenue. Now, of course, it's going to be churn. On school, you go into your dashboard and you can see your churn per 30 days. And anything under 10% is really good for the platform. Anything
Okay.
over 10%, you need to start using some retention tools that hacks that you do. But it's basically have a great membership and you won't have as much churn.
Yeah.
Now, if you go backwards there, if you need to make, let's say it's 25K a month and you're charging 250 a month, that's what, 100 people? Is that why you have that number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's 100 people. And that includes churn. So that means that each month you need to replenish.
So
So maybe 10 people leave and you need to bring 10 people back in if you want to do that. Of course, you want to grow as well, but that's how you would look at it. So that's how I would look at it is it making monthly what we would make if you split our yearly by the month. That's how I
okay.
do it. I happen to think that this is the only place I'm going to disagree with Rachel is I think the price point is too high today. I think you should do like if it was ideal if I were like coaching you, right? I would tell you go to the 30 people who've already paid, transfer over to school, give them some bonus for that first month. They get to go on a special call with you, or they get something, maybe access to a course that you're going to charge a lot more for, something else. Go in and start the free membership and start to do these. Like you can even have them like those 30 people like are your ride or dies, and they get their, I don't know how to do it on school, but you could either they get free membership or they get something, like I said, some bonus. I think bonus is better. And they get maybe they're moderators or something for this free membership. But I'm trying to decide whether you should have you say you like the free membership, so you definitely should have it. I would also have the paid membership. Does that feel right to you to have the
Yeah,
paid membership?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you bring those 30 into that paid membership, give them something bonus, have the free membership, announce that. You can always launch more than once. You know Y Combinator? Have you ever heard of Y Combinator?
Yeah, I do. I
So
do.
Y Combinator, they talk about this all the time. You can launch over and over and over again. You don't have to have just one launch. So you can launch again. Hey, we have this free membership for you. It's amazing. We're partnering with school. We're doing da da da, and boom, you're in. Then get that up to several hundred people and more and more. And every day your goal is to get that, I don't know how many people every day, but you want that to be in the thousands eventually because you can,
Yeah.
but not immediately.
So we have a free Facebook group, which we cannot stay. I mean, we cannot stay on the platform, Facebook, right? And we can bring in a couple of hundred people. Right now, a couple of hundred people is an average week, right?
How many people are in your Facebook group?
21,000, 22,000.
So that's what was going on with Lamar and Ronnie. They had a free Facebook group for a very long time. Their posts were getting throttled, so they weren't
Yeah.
people weren't seeing their posts. So that's what they did. They went to their Facebook group. They said, "We're all moving over here, y'all." And that's when I think they probably have like 1.3 thousand now, right? And it's the people who are really paying attention and they get to see these posts. You also get their email addresses so that you can export their email addresses, and you can nurture them through an email sequence if you want to when you have these free. You can also ask them 3 questions when they join, up to
Okay.
3 questions, so you can start to get data that helps you make decisions. You can also send an automated DM to each person when they join, what I use is to help them navigate. So it doesn't have a lot of characters, but you can say, this is the intro video that will help you navigate. And then you can also use it to book calls. So imagine if you like wanted to go all out on your calls because you had someone taking those calls. In your intro automated DM that's already on the platform, you could link them to your Calendly and have them setting up calls for, like, if you want to accelerate your experience, go right into dot dot dot. Then on that call, you're getting them into the paid membership. And I
Okay.
think I would charge 150 to start for the first up until 100 people joined it.
Okay.
It's just something to me. It's like there needs to be. I'm looking at this with someone who has the means, and even I'm having trouble thinking about that number.
Okay.
Rachel charges that because I know when I join Rachel's membership, she's going to help me make money tomorrow.
Right.
So there
Right.
needs to be a lower amount that feels like, okay, this is something I can take a gamble on to learn as much as I need quickly, or there needs to be a bigger transformation where I understand that faster.
I think that the transformation that our women are looking for is something that the women who are willing to put this dollar figure down understand what they're getting on the end, right?
Mhm.
They understand that leaving the country is going to give them this money back.
I 100%
And
agree,
so, yeah. And
but
so
you have 30 out of 20,000 people.
yeah,
So there's something that is not translating.
yeah,
There's something that is not getting to everybody. Like it may be that everybody is dreaming about it, but they're not going to act on it, so they don't need it immediately. It's a vitamin, not a painkiller.
yeah,
So because of that, I'm looking at it more like less like you need this immediately. We're going to get you going over there. That might even be for a lot for your do it for yous. This is more like be part of this membership so you can feel like you're gone. You know, there's some psychology that is missing. because I think of me, I'm not going, I want to desperately, but I'm not going to anytime soon. I want
Okay.
to desperately, but I'm not going to anytime soon. Therefore, I'm not going to pay $250 a month
Right.
to do
Right.
the process that I'm not going to do soon. But I
Yeah.
would pay $150 a month to be part of an organization that is showing me other people's experiences there, that is telling me when I'm ready how to do it, that is kind of convincing me more and more to do it faster, but that's also maybe teaching me about how you're doing this house sitting thing, or that's
Mhm.
also teaching me how you're doing your summits, or there's just something. I don't want to take you too far astray of what you
I
have planned, but
I
I
understand.
do think that there's a disconnect. What do you think about that? Because you've just launched, so it could
Yeah.
also be that, on a monthly basis, you're making bank.
I think it's a combination of Thanksgiving was not a good day to launch. Thanksgiving is a weekend for sale pricing and not launching a brand new thing. I think some of
Okay.
it is just timing. Okay. I think if we
Okay.
had launched this right after the summit, we're I don't know, 6 or 7 weeks removed from the summit. Not that far. But I think
Yeah.
if we launched it in the summit, I think we would have seen we would have hit 100 attendees faster.
Yes. True.
Um, I think that it feels better to know that the women who have paid us are ready to move, are ready to take some action. I like the
Mm.
idea of nurturing women who aren't yet ready and know they're not going to do it anytime soon. But I think for this leg of the membership, for this to be such a new thing, I think it feels better to know that the women who are here, who have put their money down, are
Mhm.
going to be gone in a few months, as opposed to they're going to be here next year and the year inside.
What I like about that is that in order for you to reach your major goal, you only need 100 people to feel that way. And with 20,000 and growing, you're going to have 100 people by the end of the year, by end of the next, quarter one, you will have that 100 people all day long. And they're like that could be actually, that could be how you do it is you keep the pricing as it is, you keep everything, but it's like we only take on 100 per cohort. That's special. Like we only take on 100 per cohort. You got to be serious about it. And then that's a different kind of person. That's a different mindset.
That's
I
right.
wouldn't join that, but what would I join? Would I join if
Yeah.
you had a free membership? Would I join if you had a course? Like what would I join?
We might be doing some challenges. I have no I listen, I don't know, but I'm saying we might be doing some challenges or something that is a little more engaging for the community, for the larger community,
Yeah.
but is like a stepping stone into the membership, a thing that helps you understand that this is more possible than you think. I think we have a good percentage of women who know that this is a possibility, but we also probably 50% of the 20,000 women in our group, 21,000, probably 50% just wish and don't yet know that it's a reality. So I think that there's something that we could do, some challenge, some course,
What
something.
about retreats? Have you ever done something that's physical where you can show them this is what it's like to be in Temecula. This is what it's like to be in Mexico City. This is what it's like to be in Amsterdam.
I think a retreat would be so small. Would you tell me what you think? I think a retreat would be so small that it wouldn't serve in the funnel space. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's a
there's
retreat.
a version of this. So there's so many ways to do this, by the way. Like there's no right answer, but there's a way that I see where if you're going to go for I'm not going to go for as many people as possible in this membership, but I
Uh,
am going to, there is a funnel to it. So your goal is at least 100 people in the membership.
yeah.
I feel like, now I'm using myself as the example again. I'm someone who could afford it. I'm someone who has thought about it, dreamt about it, but I'm not someone who's going to do it right away. What I might do is go on a retreat to one of these locations so I
Okay.
can dip a toe and see what it's like there before I say, oh, I'm going to go and move there. Because I might not even go on my own
Mhm.
to go test it out. I may not even feel comfortable enough to do that. But
Mhm.
if you say there are going to be 10 other women there and we're going to go and you're going to take us around and do tour guidey stuff
Yeah.
and show us what it's like to live there, the real place, the real local place, I might do that with
Okay.
that's a better confidence for me. And
Let
again,
me tell
I might
you.
pay a little bit more because of convenience and because of confidence.
Let me tell you something that we have done. We have done meetups abroad. We did a meetup in Mexico and we did a meetup in South Africa. We also did a meetup in Morocco. And but we did very little like this is what it would be like to live here. It was
Yeah.
like relax, get to know some other Exodus Summit women,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
we
think you're preaching to the choir at that point
yeah.
because
Okay.
people who are doing a meetup are already there or know how to get there.
Okay.
What
Okay.
I'm suggesting is this would be this would be like a more streamlined thing.
Okay.
It would be like twice a year or 4 times a year, whatever. I don't know exactly what it'd be, but it would be like we have these different destinations and we show you what this is like. So you'd only need the 12 people to show up to it, but you're
Yeah.
charging a premium
Okay.
and then you're documenting it. You're documenting it that when that happens. So then you can show it on your YouTube, you can show it in your membership, and you can say, these book up months in advance. Because that is going to be the different, that's going to be that bridge from someone who is just observing to someone who has taken the plunge and moved.
Okay.
That bridge. You think there was a woman you interviewed a few weeks ago, and she said it was at someone else's retreat in Mexico that she realized, I want to live here. And then
Yeah.
she moved there. But think
Uh-huh.
about what she said. It was at someone's retreat
That's correct.
where she was like, oh, this person lives there already. This person, I feel comfortable here. I didn't know this existed. This is wonderful. I can do this because
Okay.
she can. I think that experiential play, I know you were thinking about starting a hotel and doing all that. I think that's real. I think that
Okay.
I agree with Rachel. That is real. But I
Okay.
think you start with the pop-up retreat experience that it's the bridge between what people are watching in 2D on video
Right.
and what this full-on move your entire life and leave your family behind.
Okay.
There's something in the middle.
Okay.
There's something in the middle. And maybe imagine people coming with someone else that they care about and saying, let's go experience it together, see if it's something we do.
Okay. I think that's wonderful. So I've been thinking about the hotel idea or even just like a co-living space idea, but I thought that every person I told who had business acumen would be like, girl, don't do it. And you've all been like, I think that's a real
The
thing.
reason we would say that, we would say that 99 out of 100 times, we would say, girl, you're out of your mind, do not do a hotel. The
Okay.
reason I think Rachel and I both agree on this, we have not talked about it, but I think the reason we both agree is because of you.
Okay.
You almost accidentally, because it's
Mm.
so organic and authentic to you, are a like a shifter. You're a movement
Yeah.
builder.
Yes.
And you're living embodiment and breathing of this, right?
Mm.
You live it and you breathe it every single day. And people trust that. And most people try to become it. You are it. So that's why I think doing something like this is a risk. Something like this could fail. Something like this is so bold. I think what we see in you is the ability to bounce back if it didn't work out, but the special sauce that would be the person who made it happen because it does happen.
Okay.
That's why
Yes.
they exist because
That's right.
somebody.
That's right.
So I think if that's been a nagging dream of yours, that it's something that you should work towards for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. You saw what's her Gina Yashire, the comedian, British comedian.
Yes. Yes.
She just posted on her Instagram that she has 3 connected properties in Costa Rica that she's
Oh,
now putting up on Airbnb. And she showed us the process. Even has a page for it. She showed us the process. I bought the land. Now I have the contractor. Now I've built it. They're gorgeous,
okay.
absolutely gorgeous. And she said, I'm going to be spending a ton of time there. So you'll probably have me as your neighbor when you book it because I'm going to be there all the time. And that is something that you wouldn't imagine. Oh, she's a comedian. Maybe she's on TV now, but she had this vision for it and she built it. So your hotel may be years from now. But what if you start with the property?
Right.
And then what if you move from there? Because you have that experience of house sitting. So you've seen all these properties. Airbnb is right there and you can make it better, right? You can put your own optimization on it. And then you have these destinations that you've been to. So you know how to attract people to it. So I think that is in your near future. I think retreats is a wonderful thing to experiment with in
Okay.
2025. Just do one, experiment
Yeah.
with it, see how it goes.
I'd never thought about retreats in that way, right? I've
Mm.
always thought about retreats as, well, you're not going to make any money from it. So blah, blah, blah. I've never thought of, and I also thought like you'd have to do so many to get so many leads, right? But I've
Mhm.
never thought about it as a way to bring in people who wouldn't otherwise be ready or wouldn't
Yeah.
otherwise be interested. I hadn't thought about it that
So
way. So
make sure you don't spend a penny. You make your money, you make the money that's needed. You make a little bit of profit, yes. You may even charge premium because you really want to dial in on the right people. And if you're willing to do that, then it's pretty
okay,
clear where you can take them next.
that's right. That's right. Thank you.
I like how centered you are in who you are and what you want out of life, and how coachable you are at the same time. That is such a rare combination. It's a maturity and a professionalism that is going to continue to take you so far. And it's just really, people want to be part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. So thank you so much for
Thank
this conversation. Yeah, I'm here to help you. School is here to help you. Yeah, and I'm biased. I'm totally biased on school, okay? But
you.
we're here to help.
For reasons. Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I've got a whole bunch of notes. Listen, you'll hear many, many updates from me. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.